glad to have you here in this cold weather. It might be raining by the time you get on. We've got shuttles if you want to take you to the car if you want. We're lucky to have this old damn band, a little old damn band today, and they're going to give us some more tunes, tell you what they need between each song, and then they're also going to stand up and tell you who they are, or they'll tell you who they are, a little bit of history of what they do in their real life. This is sort of their avocation, I think that's what you call it. Gentleman to my right is going to say a prayer in a minute. I know you might have eaten, and you're supposed to eat after the prayer.
I heard you're the Dorito eater. You're a cool ranch. You don't like that?
Several announcements before we get on with the really big show. So, let's see. He said really big show. Ed, I don't know if you know who Ed is. Really big show. But anyway, a couple announcements for the really big show is Don Bowen, stand up, come over. This is Miss Donna Bowen, and she's got something arranged for, it's called Roaring 20s. You don't, Roaring 20s, and the announcements back there on that board says Roaring 20s. She's done a ton of work, and this place is going to look like downtown.
I've been there.
Yeah. So you look over there, and it's sort of a donation because it's not going to be fillets. It'll probably be rubber chicken. I don't know what we're serving. Oh, appetizers and hors d'oeuvres, and then there'll be a couple of beverages with ETOH in it. You get only two, but we'd love to have you. The night is right when we're having a big event here. That night is what now? April 14th, okay? Lincoln, we lost Lincoln on April 12th. Oh, she says, old damn man's playing. Will you go over here talking to this microphone? Okay, look, and she can come and tell you a few things about it. And the women, you can dress like Roaring 20s, you don't have to, and then you can dress that period of time if you want to.
Here's an opportunity to get your gangster and your flapper on. So come and have some fun. It's going to be a dance from 6 to 7. The 1924 Tri-Motor that's going to be here that week, parked out back, will be open for tour from 7 to 8. We're doing trumpet lessons. Again, band is playing all evening. We'll have appetizers, hors d'oeuvres. We're also going to have 20s cocktails, the BTVs, the boxcar. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. The tickets are $100 per person. This information is on the poster. We've also got flyers at the front desk if you'd like more information. Tickets, Caleb O'Brien has the tickets, so just call the number that's on the brochure, or just come to the museum and get your tickets here.
And if you get a whole table for 8, we might give you a discount on that. So if you want 8, you get your own table, private table, and we can put you maybe in a very selected place. And we'll try to get you sit with Mayor Winnicky if we get him to come. We won't charge you extra for that. She talked about this Ford. The Ford Tri-Motor has only been in our airport one time. The people at the hangar told us here one time it hit in the hangar one night. There's 3 motors on an engine, and it was the beginning of a real commercial aircraft. I think it was made about 1928. It's going to be here for a whole week. Never really been in Evansville for an extended period of time, so we're real lucky to have it. It's a lot of history. The EAA is sending it here. The rides are going to be pretty cheap. I think kids are 65, adults are 85. You don't get that there at all. So we're lucky to have that. Another thing we got is Junior Eagles. That'll be all week out here. There'll be a lot of PR on that. The Junior Eagles is a thing that the EAA helped us in October. We have very good pilots that have over 500 to some of them 4,000 hours up here, and they give kids rides. It's free of charge. And it's going to be on the 22nd of April. We did it in October. We had 26 local kids. This time we're going to have 40 plus. The city of Washington had 60, but most kids have never flown. But we let them play with the simulators or learn how to do things in the simulators, and then we let them get up with a real professional pilot, either in the front seat or the back seat. But it's very rare that they would get that to happen. So if you have any kids that are ages, I think it's 8 or 9 to 17. If they're older than that, they can't get it. Younger than that, but it costs $0. That's not very much. So now we're going to have a prayer, and then we're going to have the song here.
Please bow our heads for prayer. Lord, our Holy Father, you're the one who created us all, and we give you thanks that you are sovereign and in control of all that happens. We also give you thanks this day for the food that we have, sponsored by the Bronstein Foundation, prepared by loving hands. And we ask for blessings on all who are here today, for the band, for the visitors, for the volunteers at the museum. And that we remember through this museum the efforts and the hard work and the sacrifice of those who fought and those who produced materials for their efforts. So in all of this, we ask for your blessing on this food today and the blessings on the rest of our lives. Amen.
Join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join us in the singing of the national.
Was in charge of the Long Soldier for 2 years in Washington, D.C., so he's very well versed on coming away from Nashville to talk to us. So April 6th, I think that's the first Thursday of next month. Okay, Mr. Schultz, it's your show. Hi, can you hear me? I can't hear myself. Oh. We are the little old damn band from Hey, more, I gotta swallow it. It's our pleasure to play for you this morning. Our program includes a wide variety of styles of music from several generations, from the 1900s to the 1940s. I'll bet you go home singing most of these songs, and if you don't, you must be too young to be here. We're going to start with one called At the Gremlin Ball. A little bit about that one. How many of you are aviators out there? You know what the gremlins are? Well, not everybody does, so I'm going to tell a little bit about it. Pilots had to contend with a lot during the Second World War. Along with fighting the enemy in the skies above Europe and the Pacific, they also had to face another tricky opponent, gremlins. These pesky little creatures wreaked havoc on pilots and flight crews alike, making an already difficult task that much more dangerous. There are many variations that cause different types of trouble. The jockey, gremlin, sat cross-legged on birds and guided them into the windshields of fighter planes, while the optics hid in bomb sights to throw off a bomber's vision and then when aiming at a target. And another one, the bombee gremlins, caused bombs to change direction and land away from their targets. And water once disabled carburetors by leaking water into fuel lines. When you're not fooling around with pilots, they messed up around with flight crews, hiding compasses and disrupting radio frequencies. Charles Lee Hill wrote this song at the Gremlin Ball in 1944, and in the next year and a half it was performed for over 2 million people in 5 continents by the Army Air Corps Band, including the Royal Command Performance. Here we go, the Gremlin Ball. Okay, how'd you like that? I don't know if it was really not true. I had my music upside down and the pages crossed over, and I'll tell you, I don't know what to call that one. Oh, Jerry was missing the last page of the drum part. We don't need no stinking drum parts. We know how to. Okay, next one we're going to do is from a 1902. Well, this has got an interesting story. I hope you don't mind. Won't You Come Home, Bill Bailey? Huey Cannon wrote this in 1902 when he was working as a bar pianist at Concord Dietrich's Saloon in Jackson, Michigan. Willard Bill Bailey, also a jazz musician, was a regular customer and a friend, and one night he told Cannon about his marriage to Sarah Cannon. Huey was inspired to rattle off a ditty about Bailey's irregular hours. Bailey thought that the song was a scream, and he brought that home to dashed off copy to show Sarah. Well, Sarah didn't see the humor in that, but accepted without comment the picture it drew of her as a wife. Cannon sold all the rights to the song to a New York publisher and died from cirrhosis at age 35. Willard and Sarah Bailey later divorced, of course. He moved to Los Angeles with their daughter Frances. Bill died in 1954, and Sarah, his wife, died in 1976, at the age of 102. Here we go. Won't You Come Home, Bill Bailey? And when we sing, you can sing along with us. Hello. Oh, gremlins. Call him Mike. We're going to feature our drummer on the next one. And this is written in 36 by Louis Prima. You know Louis Prima? Remember him? Strongly identified with big band swing era. And this was recorded in 1937 along with Benny Goodman on clarinet, Gene Krupa on drums, Harry James, and a whole bunch of other popular musicians on the other instruments. So, one other story. Unlike most big band arrangements of the era, limited in length to 3 minutes so that they could be recorded on one side of a standard 10-inch 78 RPM record, this version with Goodman's band recorded was an extended work. It lasted 8 minutes and 43 seconds, and it took up both sides of a 12-inch 78. So you had to stop halfway through and turn the record over. You also probably had to wind up the recorder. The later version recorded at a live performance was over 12 minutes because they couldn't get the drummer to stop. Just a moment to pass the mic around and have everybody announce themselves, who they are, and a little bit about what we do in our daily life. Danny, you're first.
Well, my name is Dan Solano. I have a day job working for Old National Bank, and I do instrument repair in my spare time. I have my degree in music. I got my degree at Indiana State. Pretty much it. I play a lot with these folks. I have a lot of fun with these guys. For the BB Thursday nights. Keeps me out of trouble.
I'm Alan Phillips. I'm from Elberfeld. I'm retired, but in a former life I was a college administrator, and before that I spent 35 years either as an Army officer working for the Army as a civilian. Early in my career, I was a Cold Warrior. Came in after Vietnam, but before Desert Storm. But I was in an armored cavalry unit, and back in the 70s.
activities. We ran a border camp on the Czechoslovakian border. We patrolled 80 miles of the Czechoslovakian border, protecting us from the Russian hordes that were across the border. I've been playing, I had a 35-year break playing music and also play with the old Dana band. We just had a wonderful time. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you for your service.
My name is Prudy Moore. I'm originally from New Harmony. I graduated from the University of Evansville with my music degree, and I've been married to the math back here for 53 years.
My name's Frank Brook. My name's Frank Brook. I'm from Henderson, Kentucky. I spent my entire life working in California, the city of Los Angeles. I was in the Air Force during the Korean War, and I'm an old man. I enjoy playing in this band. I appreciate them letting me do that.
Thank you for your service.
I'm Jerry Roos. I direct the Old Dam Community Band, and I'm playing some groups around town, 4 other groups. I graduated from Indiana State, got a master's also there in arranging and composition. I love playing with these guys. I'm just filling in for them, so until they get another drummer. I spent 38 years as a band director. The last 34 years was in the Castle Band System. And I want to thank Jack Chernikov, the gentleman back there who was smart enough to hire me back in 1978. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Jack Askew,
Real close. I'm Jack Askew. I'm originally from Marion, Kentucky. I went to Institute of Electronic Technology in Paducah, Kentucky. And worked at Alcoa here at Newburgh for 40 years. I retired in 2018. And right now, I'm just retired and playing music for these guys. In a big band, I play clarinet. I just have a good time this day. During my retirement.
I'm Dan Schultz, basically the founder and president of this group, the largest community band. But the real person I have to thank is the lady sitting here in the front row who dared me to do this 23 years ago. But I spent a couple of years in the Navy spook. If you don't know what a spook is, Google it. They did not touch a horn from 1968 to 1998. That's 30 years. So the message there is if there's anybody that played music in high school or college or even or whatever, we meet every Tuesday night at Castle South Middle School. Jerry's our director, and we have a ranges between a 50 and 60 piece concert band. We have a great time. As far as the rest of my life goes, I spent 30 years in tool design and engineering, and picked up music instrument repair in 2020, and that's what I do now, just to kind of stay busy.
Thank you for your service.
Hi, my name is Mark Myers. I've been with this group for 8 years. I also play in the other band too. I grew up in Evansville, but I've lived in Boonville the last 34 years. I was in the plastics industry for 35 years. I started at Sunbeam Plastics, which was in an old airplane hangar right here on airport property back in 1977. And that's all I have. Thank you.
I'm the mouth, Jim Moore, and I'm going to dedicate this next tune to my wife. The name of it is A Good Man is Hard to Find. Next piece is called My Gal Sal, and it is a 1942 American musical film distributed by 20th Century Fox, starring Rita Hayworth and Victor Mature. Recognize those names? The film is a biopic of 1890 composer and songwriter, local Hoosier Paul Dresser of Terre Haute, and singer Sally Elliott. Sally Elliott, the musical star, meets up with an Indiana boy, Paul Dresser, a runaway who, after a brief stopover with a medicine show, arrives in gay 90s New York. He composes the title tune for The Fair Lady and becomes the toast of Tin Pan Alley. My Gal Sal. This tune was a popular march written by Frank White Meacham in 1885. It incorporates both original music themes by Meacham and melodies of American patriotic songs such as Columbia, the Gem of the Ocean, Dixie, Yankee Doodle. Glenn Miller's orchestra recorded a swing version of this march, arranged by Jerry Gray in 1942, which was released on a 78 single for Victor Records. You'll recognize it. It's called, well, I'll have to tell you, American Patrol. all you Army people that had to wake up in the morning, who was the one guy you wanted to shoot? Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. This is a World War II jump tune, blues song, written by Huey Prince, introduced by the Andrews Sisters in the Abbott and Costello comedy film Buck Privates, 1941. According to the lyrics, a renowned trumpet player from Chicago, Illinois is drafted into the U.S. Army, but is reduced to blowing the wake-up call reveille, and is restrained from playing boogie woogie. He is depressed until a captain empathizes, yeah. My tongue got in front of my tooth and couldn't see what I was saying. And allowed him to play reveille in his own style with positive effects on the rest of the country. Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. Okay, we're picking on the bugle today. Next one is called Bugle Call Blues, or Bugle. Here we go. One more time. Bugle Call Rag. It's also known as Bugle Call Blues. And it's a jazz standard. And New Orleans Rhythm Kings recorded the Bugle Call Rag on August 29, 1922, in Richmond, Indiana. Forget It, Gennett Records. All right, so Bugle Call Rag, and then we've got one more after this. Enjoy it. Okay, our last number is a special number. Some of you are going to have to stand up. You don't have to, but we'd like you to stand up. The next piece is called Marches of the Armed Forces. It's a medley of the Armed Forces marches, each with a different, there are many different ones of these that we play, and each one has a different order of the services. This particular one starts with the Marines hymn. So if you're a Marine, you can stand up during the Marines hymn. And then the next one would be the Army's caisson song. So the Army can stand up and women. And then is the Coast Guard Separatus. And then the Air Force song. And finally, they say the best for last, right, Dan? The Navy song. We invite you to stand if possible, if you hear your service song. And we all thank you for your service.
They have a song at Chandler Elementary. They got a song for Space Force.
Oh, we don't have that one in our.
Okay.
We were going to play Star Wars theme from that.
Well, you can do it.
We didn't take it better. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's been a pleasure to play for you and Candy, and we will be back. Thank you very much. We'll be back in April for the Roaring 20s, and we'll be having all 20s music, more or less 20s music. Have a safe